All right, Genesis 24, let's call this one kindness. It's kind of a continuation of the one we entitled Be, which was be kind, be careful, and then be thankful, which sounds kind of cliche on the surface, but hopefully that one was giving us enough depth to understand how it's important to be kind. Why? Because Abraham, in being kind to three servants, giving them refreshment, didn't really know that the three visitors were really there to refresh him, because he had been waiting what seemed to be a long time for God to fulfill his promise regarding Isaac. And that's exactly what these three men were there to do, was to refresh him while he waited. Lot, while Abram had interceded for him to make sure that God was not going to sweep away the righteous with the unrighteous in what God was about to do to Sodom and Gomorrah, he showed kindness to two angels that went ahead into Sodom and Gomorrah. And in showing kindness to those angels, he didn't realize that they were really there to show kindness to him. And so we thought about how it's so important to set the precedent of letting kindness be not convenient, and that kind of customer service kind of kindness. I'm being kind because I'm trying to make a sale or close a deal, but let it be habit forming, because you never know when God is going to appear. Specifically, Jesus said as he's closing out his ministry that the litmus test, quite simply, at the end of days could be likened to one who God said, as he sorted the sheep from the goats, blessed are you who were counted among the sheep, because when I was poor, hungry, naked, or in prison, you looked after me. And they'll say, when did we look after you in these situations? And he says, as much as you did it to the least of these, you did it to me. And so it's impossible to outsmart God. And so getting in the habit of making that a genuine part of our character is important. Why? Because he comes to us in unassuming forms, as we've said, that fit between the spaces of our blind spots and the places we don't necessarily expect, no matter how keen or attentive we think we can be. Why is it also important? Because in this particular chapter, Rebecca, in showing kindness, we don't know if this is a character trait for her or not, but in showing kindness is being kind to the servant of a man who is there to show kindness to a woman who is about to marry a very rich man. And so in being kind, she is in turn about to receive kindness beyond her expectation. And once again, why is it so important to be kind beyond that customer service kind of level of kindness? Well, once she gets that husband, how that marriage is going to progress has everything to do with whether or not her kindness is genuine or simply superficial. And so later on, we're going to see this couple, after they're actually married, they're going to come into contact with, once again, Abimelech, who has grown used to dealing with this Abraham family. And much like his daddy, Isaac, who was going to marry a very pretty girl in the way of Rebecca, is going to be scared to tell the men of Gerar, where Abimelech is king, that this pretty girl is his wife. And ultimately, what's going to tip Abimelech off this time, he's gotten wind or gotten used to the fact that, well, it's probably not so wise to just go around taking women, because you never know who they might belong to. But he is going to see Isaac, after he has said that this Rebecca is simply his sister, laughing in a way that tips him off that, oh no, I've seen this out of your family before. And ultimately he's going to know that even though he didn't make the mistake, one of his young men could make the mistake of assuming that this young woman was single when she was not. And so ultimately Abimelech has caught the message. And what he is going to see is, in this relationship between these two young people, kindness between them that goes beyond the wedding day. And so ultimately, when people are looking at us, if we are blessed to get a blessing in the way of someone like a spouse, the question becomes, do we have the depth of character that will nurture a healthy relationship, as many people who counsel couples will say, beyond the wedding day? And so that's one of the reasons why God, when he's finding out whether or not we're safe to bless, he is finding out whether or not he is giving us a blessing that will be wasted on us because our kindness and our character lacks depth. So my encouragement for each and every one of us is to have the depth of character, not only to be blessed, but to be the kind of people who nurture blessings.